Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Tomb Tuesday. It is September 13th, 2022. Let's get into it. This is update number 53. So he starts out by talking about the market briefly. You're still sideways. Bitcoin ranging between 19 and 23. Ethereum ranging between 15 and 17. We saw a ton of volatility today with the CPI numbers coming out for America. That talks a lot about inflation and the numbers that have to go with it and whether we're going in the right direction or not. But that is a conversation for another day. So anyway, that being said, they said that our mission is to create a safe place to earn while the market continues to trade with volatility. Now, there is an Ethereum merger, or at least one big step of the merger that is happening this week. So you do expect some more short-term volatility. All right, moving on. Let there be life. So the Life Genesis Q4 pools on Tomb.com and the nursery are now live on Life.com. So on Tomb, you're going to be going to Tomb.com to get to the Q4 Genesis pools. Now there is Q3 is still listed on there, but they're no longer active. So if you are still in Q3, unstake, and then you can restake in the Q4. The nursery is brand new to Life. You can go on Life.com, head to the nursery, and single stake there for Life rewards. So it's the Life Genesis just on Life.com. All right, the assets that are there, Tomb ecosystem assets such as Tomb, T-Share, Tbone, front and center, L-Share, L3USD, and Zoo. All right, now on top of those, you have other stable options. L3USD is a stable option, but on top of that, you have USDC, FUSDT, and DAI. So those three stable options. Now, rounding out the list, 12 single assets total, and that is the same assets on Tomb.com as it is on Life.com. Rounding that out is WFTM, BTC, and Ethereum. So already there's 13 million plus staked in between those two protocols, all generating yield in this market. And I think that's pretty amazing stuff. When you think about it, when you think about the market and hanging on to the assets you don't want to sell anyway and then earning yield from those, I think that that's a really, really big deal. Let's take a look at this graphic. Here we can see the Genesis Nursery Analytics. So 7.2 TVL in Genesis Q3. That has ended. Again, if you're here, unstake and restake. Unstake and restake, all right? 8.9 at the time of this graphic, so a little bit higher now. 3.8 again at the time of the graphic, so a little bit higher now. And that is the Nursery and Genesis Q4 with the 12 assets we just talked about. Tomb, T-Share, Tbone, L3, L-Share, Zoo, and then USDC, FUSDT, DAI, and then FTM, BTC, and ETH. So all of those are available for single staking for the Life of Genesis and the Nursery. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about the Mortuary and the Mausoleum. So these were announced last week. They are live today, right now, on v3.tomb.com. So treat it like a beta. Go through to V3. Always provide your feedback. Anything that you see, spot, notice, anything that you want changed, those things, you can reach out to any mod in either Telegram or Discord. Leave your feedback, and we will read it. We will take care of it, and if it makes sense for the protocol, we can implement it. So lots of really cool things that can be done with the community and the feedback received. Now, this is the lending and the single stake receipt token lending and borrowing or supplying that is available on Life through the Terrace and the Greenhouse. Now on Tomb, soon to be Tomb.com, but now on V3 Tomb. But anyway, you look at it, it's on Phantom, where Life is on Tomb Chain. So if you already have assets on the Phantom blockchain, you're already in the Tomb ecosystem, and you wanted to make use of that, over here on this side, now you can do it. So the Mortuary enables you to lend your assets or leverage your LPs. So there's a lot of really great ways that you can create yield and generate yield in that way, especially with leverage in DeFi. So there's a lot of interesting things that you could do. And then the mausoleum will act like the greenhouse. So it's going to be single stake assets. You'll receive an STL receipt token, and then those receipt tokens will have further utility down the road, right? So that it's just going to take some time for those things to be fully built, fleshed out, tested, and then implemented onto the site. And that is just adding more options, adding more different ways that you can play the game of Tomb and the game of life. So we could take a look at this graphic here. And in this graphic, we're talking about earning yields on Tomb.com. So as far as Genesis, Cemetery V2, the Mortuary, the Mausoleum, and the Masonry are all different places where yield can be generated. So single assets, LP tokens, and single assets, and T-share tokens. So lots of different ways that you can play the game of Tomb. All of those are right here. And then we could take a look at the actual V3 site right now. All right, so when you come over to v3.tomb.com, you will see the swap, the cemetery, the mortuary, the mausoleum, Genesis, and then more, which will have some other options here, masonry coming soon, pit, bridge, analytics, and liquidity. So right here, you'll be able to see the different LPs. Any one of these LPs, you'll be able to jump in right here, and then you can deposit your LPs. You'll have the ability to leverage those LPs once you have deposited. You'll be able to borrow USDC or L3 based on the LP that you put in there, and then you can come over to lending, and on lending, you can single stake or single supply either one of the two, right? Either USDC or L3USD. And then if we come over to the mausoleum, you have a couple different options here. So 5 different assets: Tomb, FTM, Life, USDC, and L3. And again, any one of these you'll be able to click on, get the rest of the dialog box that's there. Enter the amount that you want to stake. You'll have to approve it down here and then stake it. And then these will also auto compound. So these are generated based off of borrows that are coming from the mortuary. So it is important to remember when analyzing your APRs or when assessing your risk, what you could be generating through the mausoleum, which is required to go through the mortuary. In other words, what you're going to be receiving in the mausoleum is going to be directly based off of what they're borrowing from the mortuary. So it's important to understand what you're actually seeing over here. All right, and moving on over to life updates. So with the nursery now live, that brings the life protocol to 4 active yield generating resources between the garden, the terrace, the greenhouse, and now the nursery. So the next and last thing of the core portion of the life protocol is the fountain of life, and that will be coming soon. But we can take a look at this graphic here that'll go over the 4 active ways to generate yield on life. So here we can see the nursery, the garden, terrace, and greenhouse, and the fountain of life is coming soon. So again, you have single stake, you can stake LPs, you can do LPs and single stake. And then you could do life tokens and Tomb tokens in the greenhouse, where if you saw on Tomb.com through the mausoleum, there was 5 different single assets that you can use. On life, there are 2, just life and Tomb. So something to keep in mind, and something to, put through your thought process as you develop your trading plans or your portfolio plans. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about Tomb chain updates, and we'll pull this graphic up right here. Looking at just under 10,000 transactions a day, total transactions up over 185,000, with wallets sitting just 52 away from 2,500. So incredible growth going on Tomb chain, and that is really fantastic to see. So far, all of the analytics coming back are really good. All of the tweaks that go out are really good. Any little bugs that come up all get fixed. So everything is really operating very smoothly, and then anything that comes up is getting addressed very quickly. So as far as Tomb chain is concerned, everything is going good day to day, week to week, and we continue to watch that grow and do well. So we'll talk about L3 updates right now. 3.6 million in circulation already. Now that is great, and it's growing. All right, we're still in phase 1. Phase 1 is building deep liquidity. When that is ready, when that is done, you can start getting into phase 2 and phase 3. And we'll pull that graphic up in just a second. But it goes on to say that this is going to be an incredible quarter coming up. And 2023 is shaping up to be another big year for Tomb and Life. Here we talk about the phases for L3USD, which is the stablecoin product from Life, or from the entire Tomb Life ecosystem. But phase 1 is building deep liquidity. So it's going to take a little while to get to the numbers that they need. Once they reach that threshold, we're going to go into phase 2. Phase 2 is going to unlock borrowing. Once you've unlocked borrowing, now you've added utility to the token itself, and then you can move on to phase 3. And phase 3 allows you to expand liquidity pairs across the Phantom, Tomb, and Life ecosystems. Because by pairing your L3USD with, let's say, Phantom or Tomb or DAI or T-Share or whatever the case may be, that now increases the utility as well, and it also expands circulation as more L3, if demand is there, more L3 would need to be minted in order to satisfy those goals of people using it for LPs and staking. So a lot of really great things happening with L3. That's going to take some time. So it's just a matter of letting that do its thing, continue to grow, continue to be utilized. And then once we reach those thresholds, we'll move on to phase 2 and phase 3. Social media reach, Instagram. So we are now live on Instagram 3 ways: Game of Tomb, Life Official, and L3USD. We can very quickly take a look at those. They went live today, I believe. So you have right here the Game of Tomb. You can take a look at that, and they did a nice little 6-way shot over here, and then the banner down at the bottom. We'll talk about these two right here in just a minute, but this is the Game of Tomb. Next up, we have Life Official, a 9-way picture cut up, and this is the Alpha Tori sponsorship that we have, and Life.com is right here up on the crown, which is beautiful. And then you have again the Tomb Life banner down here in a 3-way picture setup, and then L3USD with a couple pictures over here, very similar to the website at the moment, just giving the heads up of this is coming, and this is designed to support Phantom, Tomb, and the Life ecosystem. So really cool stuff. Now on Instagram, you can feel free and check those out as soon as you can. All right, moving on from there, we just saw 2 pictures that were in the Instagram, and they are these right here. So let's zoom in on these. This right here you can see is UAE Warriors 32 Africa, only 4 African fighters, Friday, 16th of September. And then on the following day, you will see UAE Warriors 33 by Palms Sports. And these are both sponsored by Tomb.com. So proud sponsor of UAE Warriors. And again, this is a matter of sponsoring things that are appealing to the community, appealing to Tomb and Life, and a way to get brand awareness out there. Just a way to be part of something. Like, we're part of F1, we're part of MotoGP, now we're part of UAE Warriors. And this is really good. This is great to see this type of branding, sponsoring something, enabling other people that excel in their craft to go do their thing and be part of something that's bigger than everybody. So really cool stuff. There's a website over here. The link is UAEwarriors.com, so you can check that out whenever you want. This is the first of many sponsorship opportunities utilizing L3USD. So huge stuff coming as far as sponsorships are concerned. All right, rounding out the Tomb Tuesday, FELIX adds Quint. So we talked about this last week, but it wasn't live yet. Now it's live. It went live on Sunday, 2 days ago, and now Quint is on FELIX. So FELIX was able to list Quint, even though Quint isn't a Phantom token, and that's the beauty of having a SEX. So you're able to bring those tokens in all around DeFi, global DeFi. So DeFi that's on multi-chains. And this is a DeFi token that's on the BNB chain, or the once named Binance Smart Chain, which is now the BNB chain. And now you could trade that token on FELIX. So really cool stuff is happening over at FELIX. We love to see it. Airdrops for Fanny and Tbone. So again, every week we get closer to finalizing our initial build of life on Tomb Chain, which is what we just talked about. The biggest piece of the puzzle to come, which is the Fountain of Life. Once complete, that will unlock the doors for Tbone and Fanny. I cannot thank you enough, especially my Shiba Phantom friends, for all of your patience and understanding during this process. Great things indeed take time. So a little shout out there to Shiba Phantom friends, as they have been patiently waiting for the Tbone airdrop. We have comic number 4, which is Genesis of Yerold. So you can pause this video, you can read the cells, you can go on Telegram and read it, you can go on Discord and read it, and now you can come on Medium and read it as well. All right, and that will wrap it up. So we finish up with the Futures Bright. Everything on this list is a great addition to our current services and has a home in the Tomb Life ecosystem. The items we create are made to ensure long and profitable life for everyone. Keep in mind that this is just the beginning and a lot more is still to come. Now here we can see a couple new green lights have been turned on for the Mortuary and the Mausoleum. The nursery is live as well. Put live a few weeks ago the garden and the greenhouse, L3USD curve pools, the terrace, so all sorts of good stuff, and still plenty to come. Airdrops, Fanny, Tbone, Only, NFT Marketplace, Launchpad, Fountain of Life, LifeChain L1, DeFi derivatives, lending platform, Life mobile wallet, Game of Life. Game of Life will be lit when the Fountain of Life is out, because that means that the protocol itself is now complete in its entirety of its initial launch. And that will wrap it up for this Tomb Tuesday. So as always, we keep calm, tomb on, and enjoy life.